Look at this pup, just owning the couch. Anyway, there's Glizzy, and he couldn't help himself popping up from the bed and taking a look. There's Cal too. Let's go ahead. Look at this. The temperature on the Vivosun, whatever, 81.3. Nice and toasty for the celery seeds. I have 2 containers, 4 seeds in each, and I have a cayenne and a jalapeno pepper, which was recently planted. These celery seeds, it's only been 8 days and 4 of the seeds have germinated, so I was expecting it to be 3 weeks, according to all the information I had, but needless to say, I guess that's enough proof that things are going all right here, growing in solo cups with plastic bags, DIY humidity domes, the little roasting trays, and a little piece of cardboard underneath the heating pad as insulation, doing everything we can and maintaining the temperatures that we need, which I would really not like it to get much higher than what it is right now, to be totally honest, considering that we're pairing the peppers, which can probably go up to 90 degrees, but the celery, which I wouldn't even want to necessarily hit 85. So we're just kind of finding a happy medium. So yes, everything looks great and all, being that the temperature is right where I want it to be. The probe stuck right into celery container number 1. But if you might be able to hear it in the background, the only reason why we're hitting these temperatures that I like is because of the space heater that is also plugged in. So in other words, you may be dealing with this problem as well, that the heating pad, obviously this right there, is not doing an adequate job on its own. I mean, I came in during the first trial run of the heating pad, and it was at sometimes barely maintaining over 70 degrees on its own. Now, to be fair, I like keeping the house cool. According to my temperature gauge before I put it in the greenhouse to monitor that, kind of like, what was it, like mid 60s maybe that I keep the house, mid to high 60s. And to be fair, these heat pads are only supposed to maintain a level of, maybe 10 to 20 degrees if you're really lucky. But, I feel like maybe more practically around, maybe 10, 15 degrees increase in temperature. But, so we have a little dilemma here, and I don't necessarily want to run a space heater. I will if I have to, but if I can find a way around that, then I would like to do that. So that's what this video is going to be about. By the way, that space heater does have a little thermostat kind of regulator on it on the left side, the left dial, which if you wanted one, I mean, this is, fairly efficient for what it is, I suppose. But I've come to a conclusion, which may be pretty obvious, but at least if you are in the pre-planning stage of your gardening journey, it's something that you may have forgotten and you might need to take note of. So the main thing that we have going on, I believe the reason why it's not hitting the temperatures is because we're using these tall and wide solo cups. That's why. And by the way, there's a sneak peek at one of the celery seeds that germinated only maybe within the past hour or two, right there at the tip of my finger. That little green thing. Pretty cool right there. But, so I noticed in all the videos people kept recommending using these, because they're cheap. It's a super cheap and effective setup that is obviously resulting in great germination, but it's only with the space heater. But why? Well, it's so much more soil for, that little heat pad to keep up with. And most of the videos that I've seen, people use the seedling trays. And I did not want to really get a seedling tray because I don't have that many plants to start. I mean, these things have like 100 or 72 or whatever, like so many cells, and I'm not starting that many plants necessarily. So I wondered, like, what is the justification for me to get a little seedling tray? It just doesn't make sense. Plus I'm gonna have to, transplant and stuff, even though that's kind of fun and part of the process, I was just wondering, just justifying the purchase basically, when you can just go to Walmart and get some cups and sandwich bags. Why would I go through the hassle of getting a seedling tray? Well, I think that this might be a good example of a good reason to get a seedling tray if you are planning your garden and haven't considered it, is because, if you have a cold house or whatever, you might need it, because these solo cups sure do take a lot of soil, which is a good part because you don't have to transplant necessarily or as much, but that's a lot of soil to heat. These are, quite a few inches tall, and they're also very wide. So if you're wanting to heat these seeds that are way up here, it's going to require a lot more energy and a lot more intensity of the heat than a seedling tray, which, just hovers kind of right down here, or maybe just an inch or two off the ground or off the platform. And they're also not extremely wide. So I think that's actually a great justification for getting seedling trays, is just maintaining heat. And that's what this is all about. The seedling trays and everything are about starting seeds early, and for ones that you need heat for, it might be a good idea. Anything that does not require heat, I'm going to continue using the solo cups, but until then, I have decided to go with Bootstrap Farmer. I got their, I believe they call it their 110 seedling tray setups, and so I'll be making content with those. But just right now, wanted to kind of share why I, as someone who did not originally think that I would want or need seedling trays, why I went ahead and did that with the cells and with the humidity domes and everything. It's for heating in a situation where originally I thought that I would not necessarily need all of that, because why do the transplanting and why worry about doing all of that when I'm not necessarily starting so many seeds? Anyway, so each individual one of these we'll go into detail about later, more in a part 2 situation where we actually use those trays for the first time, and we will see if my conclusion is correct. Obviously, these trays are much more shallow and they're much less wide than the solo cups. So this is a 6-cell tray, still with decently sized cells, to be totally honest, but, and I've never done this before, if we compare it to the solo cup, we're looking at, for one cell, it's going to be a fairly small percentage, maybe 40% or somewhere around that, of the same amount of soil, maybe less, I'm not sure, to heat up. So if you're not hitting your germination temperatures with the heat mat and you just happen to be using these big containers, maybe that is a reason to go ahead and get yourself some trays. And that's what we are going to be experimenting with in the next video. Be sure to continue watching if you like gardening videos, weight loss videos. This is the weight loss garden, and I just wanted to throw that tip out there. It's probably very obvious, but something that you might overlook if you were like me. Worst case scenario, get yourself a little space heater. And that's about all, you guys. Here's a check-in on this is a seed starting, or rather germination test from a 4-year-old frozen seed cache, whatever you want to call it, from my freezer. If any of this or all of this sounds familiar or interesting rather, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much.